The Monsters Playbook is an adventure podcast for grown-ups. It contains violence and profanity and deals with adult themes that may be uncomfortable for some listeners. Specific content warnings can be found in the episode's show notes. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to the Monsters Playbook, an actual play Monster of the Week podcast that's played virtually and distributed digitally, but nevertheless tends to get way too real. This week on the cover story, we're dealing with some of the most dangerous things in existence. Yes, I'm talking about the dark stones they're carrying, imbued with, the fires that could end the world, but this is our show, and there are dangers worse than the clear and present kind. The dangers that have already come and gone, and done their grim work. Maybe this time, we can't find a way forward without trudging back through our characters' past traumas. Fair warning, gang, this one gets darker than usual. Stay safe, friends.
I'm John, and I play Mark Clayton.
I'm Lauren, and I play Kira and Anna Ashwood.
I'm Maya, and I play Theo Nessos.
I'm Jonny, I play literally everybody else. Let's get to it. So when last we left, I think I know where you guys were wanting to head, where you were going to try to figure out what to do next. So I would like to pick up with you all arriving at your safe space, the Dawnbreak headquarters.
Yeah, because I think Kira was suggesting that maybe they try to deal with this whole the insight device thing, because they knew that was a thing. Oh, because because we have that's done now, right? That's been properly the process for that's been completed. Mm-hmm. So she was thinking about maybe doing that. And then we also have that heat sink, right? That's what it was called. Mm-hmm. Can we use it to get rid of Oscar or do something with him with it?
Is that what you want to try to do?
I think that was the plan, wasn't it? To get rid of Oscar with it?
Yeah, it was.
Hopefully.
Should I get the stones?
Yes, I think so.
So wait, where are we all standing right now?
We're at Dawnbreak. I think we're probably inside, in like the main kind of artery of the building, which is like a big abandoned warehouse. And I think it's kind of like where they have like the books and like kind of like the library area.
Yeah, I would like to imagine you guys at basically a Justice League table.
Yeah.
Big round table where you could reasonably fan out some maps and plan some attacks.
Yep.
Okay.
That's where you are. You're all sitting around a table. Which roll call, what NPCs would be with you? Clearly, obviously, all of Dawnbreak.
Yep.
Sparks Bros?
Yes, I think so. I think Kira would have told Tommy what she was going to do and would have wanted him there. And then Donovan.
Yeah, I was there.
And Catrell.
Mark is going to put his stone on the round table and then reach into his hidden place and grab the bigger stone and put it on the table.
So yeah, Mark reaches into like basically a cloud that forms itself out of nothing and pulls out his obsidian slab, sets that down on the table, then reaches into his pocket and pulls out his obsidian smaller stone and sets that also on the table. Both of them irradiate this kind of red-orange ambient heat and aura.
Okay. I think Kira, I imagine that they've probably been keeping the heat sink here at Dawnbreak, so I think she would retrieve that. What does it look like again, the heat sink?
I think the main thing that it kind of looks like is a great big wiffle bat or like a narrow butter churn. It has like a I think it said about like 5 or 6 inch in diameter cylinder that is about 3 feet, and then like a much narrower cylinder coming out of the top that is another like 2.5 or 3 feet.
Okay, so that's pretty decent size.
Yeah, and with your investigations of it, they haven't done much tinkering with it, I think, out of concern that it would not work. But there is like at the sort of base of it, if you have the larger cylinder on the bottom, there is inside a basically constantly spinning sphere of some unknown material. I think roll investigate a mystery on behalf of your people.
I was gonna say I want to know how do we use it? All that fun stuff. Boom! 12 advanced move.
God damn! Right off the bat.
The freebie I will give you is that they have absolutely no idea how to actually use it. Like the mechanism of trapping something inside of it, they don't know. And their going theory is that it's something that you won't be able to do without the help of Jazz.
Oh,
or Unit 5477.
Okay. So we'd have to turn them on.
And now you get 2 questions.
Will it be able to take in like more than one thing? Or only the one?
It was designed for one thing.
Okay. And now Mark split this thing into 2, but is it still technically like one thing? Like one energy source, if that makes sense. Like even though it's kind of been bisected, is it still?
It is currently 2 things. It could potentially be made back into one thing, but it would have to be made.
And then I guess my other question is like, how was it made if we were to try to make something like this again? Yeah, so I guess my question would be like, how is it made? Or maybe who would know how this was made?
Jazz again. I think the other main thing that they have figured out about it is that it is infinitely complex. John, you might know this. There's like a term for the phenomenon of every couple of years, processors get twice as fast and half as big. Anyway, it's that. Yeah, it's like a something's law. I don't know. I don't read, but it's like it's extremely complex and extremely tiny and extremely intricate.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't clear already, because it came here from the future with the robot Jazz, it came here from the future and it was made by nanomachines. I will say that one thing you can readily tell is that a major component, the main component, is the metal, the same metal as those sort of medallions that had been being mined from Ashworld by Dawnbreak.
The same metal?
Yeah, if you recall, there were some amulets, medallions that Dawnbreak, under Anna's direction, upon a time, had been mining from the hallway, and then carrying that metal allowed them to go in and out of the infinite hallway without being harmed. That same metal is what this thing is made of.
All right, then. I think Kira kind of looks over the 2 stones and kind of looks at Mark and is like, is there any way that we can push them back together? I mean, how did you separate them in the first place?
Mark looks at you, looks at the rocks. He takes his finger and pushes the small one next to the other one. I mean, that's effectively how I got them to jump across.
So if we had a larger rock, maybe it would go into the larger rock.
Maybe. And I think Mark's like, can we go back to the rock store?
Oh my God. Don't you have a rock at your house already?
No, this is the other one.
Mark, you will hear a slightly impatient voice in your head. Why do you think I wanted you to find the forge?
I think Mark just stops. You wanted me to find?
What?
There's no response.
You just kind of looked off into space and started talking to yourself?
Sorry. Rode just said something.
What did she want?
She said, why did you think I wanted you to get the forge?
The forge would help with this?
Apparently.
Miss Rowe, we'd love to talk with you if you could come down here.
Mark sighs. Rode, do you have a second?
Mark, roll manipulate someone.
10.
Yeah, I think you guys will see. Catrell, by the way, this whole time has just been like walking through and touching the spines of all the books. And just being like, okay, well, yeah, this one feels smart. And then she like doubles over, stands bolt upright, throws her head back, and just these beams of light come out of her eyes.
Oh.
And then she like floats up off the ground a couple of inches and then sort of stands straight and normal and casual. Her eyes are lit up. She's still floating a couple of inches off the ground. And she looks at you, Mark, and goes, you have questions?
Well, that's new.
Rowe?
Each time she blinks, the room dims noticeably.
Well, that's an interesting entrance. Well, I guess the last thing was an interesting entrance as well. So we're getting this forge to...
Access to the forge.
But for this, and Mark points at the rocks.
What are you looking to make on this forge?
Contingency.
And that would be like a weapon or...
I think because her eyes are lit up, you can all see her dart her eyes toward Theo for just a second and go, I can't tell you too much yet.
Okay. But the forge will help with this problem? She points at the rocks.
With the fact that there's 2 of them, yes.
Would it be helpful if I left?
From my perspective, you already have. Is it now? Blink. I will go too. Yano is no good at keeping secrets. Come, Sorella, make me a coffee.
Anna will hobble out with Lowry probably.
Aw.
Yeah. Join Theo and Yano. And we'll just be like, nice to see you again.
And now can you shed some light?
Who all left?
Theo, Yano, Anna, Lowry.
So Donovan, Sparks, Bros, and I think at least Gad and Verdigris are still in there. Ketrel will float towards the table, and then take the last few steps towards it and stand behind a chair. And then, as though sort of projected behind her, this like 12-foot ethereal figure of Ro, as you remember her with her huge hair and sharp eyes. She will say, there is a sinister plan that has been budding for decades. To defend against it, that's why I asked for your tree. To defend against it, that's why I will ask for this weapon. The flame inside he intends to burn my realm with.
I think we've seen some of that coming to fruition. Some of us can see. Kira looks at Mark. I've seen glimpses of it.
But obsidian can contain and control this?
Well, the heat sink should.
She'll point at the obsidian itself. For a time, it will have to be tempered. Then she'll look at Kira with the ashen stone.
The obsidian stones need to be tempered with ashen stone. So is the heat sink would not do anything?
The heatsink will contain the fire.
Right. But you said that there is like the metal in that device is like the same kind of, it is the ashen stone or whatever.
My enemy intends to use the fire. I intend to use the fire as well.
It will consume everything unless we can contain it.
Hence, the forge.
The forge will be able to combine these two things into one again?
And turn them into another form.
Okay. So if you contain this fire, what are you going to do with it once it's contained?
How is it you'd put it? Point and shoot.
You're going to use it as a weapon.
Better than a bomb.
I think Kira kind of just looks at Mark, doesn't say anything.
I think after she looks at me and look at Ro, well, consider it done. I think he nods and then goes to pick up the small rock and look at it.
The projection of Ro nods and Catrell's head nods. She closes her eyes slowly and then opens them quickly. Oh my god, was that her? Oh my god.
Oh, bud.
Oh my god.
Oh, sweetie.
She gave you like a big message, didn't she? Oh, that was... And she's like pacing. Oh, I bet I looked so cool. I bet I was tall and I flew without my wings. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was great. Pat, pat. Okay, well, we need to go after this forge thing before we can do anything here, it sounds like. Although I am...
That's not strictly, true, says Verdigris.
Oh? What do you mean?
Like, sort of hobble over with his little walking stick. There is the matter of the initial fire. Don't know what the proper term ought to be.
Right. I think Kira's kind of like wringing her hands a little bit. How does it work exactly?
Again, it's sort of repurposed. You know, like crooks his cane under his shoulder so that he can make finger quotes and say technology. But it should put you and onlookers into direct contact with the possessor.
Well, does anybody want to come with? We would have grabbed Theo and Anna back by now, I think, by the way.
Okay.
I think before we depart, Mark looks at Kira. Do you...
What's up?
Just nervous on this one.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
Just, I don't know, using it as a weapon.
What Ro was saying. No, okay, that's what I thought. Weapon's a weapon.
A weapon's a weapon, and I mean, we stop bad things from not happening, not enable it, so.
Yep. All right, who's coming with into my head, I guess?
Who do you want with you? It's your head.
Well, instantly, I think her eyes go to Anna. Well, I know I need you there. Anna's just like, oh, hell yeah, for sure, yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, I'll give Ember a talking to. And then I think she looks at Theo and Mark, and probably at Tommy. I know I'd want you guys there too, and Donovan.
I think Mark throws his little rock up in the air and snatches it out of the air. Let's do it.
Mark will act under pressure.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Mark does anything. Jonny, roll act under pressure.
8.
Yeah, you throw it up in the air, and then it like bounces out of your hand, and you do that thing where it like bounces, and you try to catch it, and you just wind up half clumsy juggling it until you do grab it. You're like, catch roll behind you, assuming you did it on purpose.
Was there anybody else that you wanted?
I think it's just the hunters, Tommy and Donovan.
Okay.
I think she would say to Yuna, and she'd kind of say under her breath and be like, if something goes wrong, I think you know what you need to do.
Roll manipulate someone.
12 advance move.
Yuna will then heft her bat over her shoulder, grip it a little bit, which will make the dragon imprint in it flash faintly, and she'll nod seriously.
Yeah. And I think Kira kind of also just exchanges a glance with Gad.
Who's wringing his hands nervously.
Yeah. Just kind of like gives him a nod and is like, so what should I expect?
Expect to meet the demon.
All right, do we have to like sit down? Or you just like walk into this mirror? What do we do?
He will have to come in with you, Verdigris.
Okay.
You'll walk into this room, which will be like kind of a conference room with no windows. And yeah, I think there's just a number of scattered seats. There's the table in here that they would be around. The table in here that the chairs would be around has been pushed against the far wall. In the far corner, there is this easel. And then I think about the size of like a 8x10 framed picture is this silvery mirror that is rimmed in a kind of chromy metal. Oh, and mounted in the lightning struck wood. And then you will be sat in front of it. Everyone else will be sat in a sort of half circle around you.
Mm-hmm.
Verdigris will sidle up to the mirror and look at you, waiting for a signal to commence.
Yeah, I think Kira kind of like takes in a deep breath, kind of like shakes out her fingers a little bit, nods.
Okay. And then he will take in a deep breath and then place his walking staff between himself and the mirror and then exhale directly onto it, which will make the sort of rim in between the wood and the silvery mirror glow bright white. And then your reflection and, in fact, everything inside the mirror will be consumed in flame and will burn bright and then dark. And then where your eyes had been, 2 glowing embers will burn. Feel more than hear a kind of low, rumbly growl.
And so, like, can I approach, like, where this seems to be coming from?
The 2 glowing embers rise up in unison with you.
Okay. All right, Kira. Ember? Are you here? I'm here to talk with you. See if we can't come to some sort of agreement. Will you speak with me?
What do you have to offer that I won't take anyway?
Well, that's, I guess, kind of hard to answer. What exactly do you want?
The eyes just for a second burn quite a bit brighter.
Everything to burn, consume. Why are you biding our time?
Because these people, this world, it's important. You can't just destroy it. You can't burn it up. If you do that, there'll be nothing left. And what then? There will be nothing more for you to consume. But you'll still exist, and you'll be empty.
I will be full.
That's a lie. We gotta look inside. Something that's pretty similar to you. It will never be full. It will never be satisfied, even after it destroyed an entire world. It couldn't help itself. Sounds like somebody else I know.
The eyes start to be sort of rimmed in a kind of human form, just shadow on shadow.
I don't expect you to understand. You are a thing of blood and bones.
I came from you, didn't I?
You eat to keep from dying. I eat to change.
You eat because you can't help yourself. Because you have no control. You're chaos. Unrestrained chaos.
Free from the illusion of order.
There'll be nothing left.
Theo, roll read of that situation.
I rolled amazingly,
Congratulations.
but I don't think that Theo's really paying attention. She's kind of like here, but she's not here.
What's she thinking about?
Oh, just things. Oh, so Theo rolled 15.
Okay.
But she's been pretty much in her head thinking about, like, does any of her siblings know? And
If you ever sort of surface or like come back to your body, your right hand is trembling. Kira, what was the last thing you said?
You'll destroy everything. There won't be anything left. If you were to work with me, maybe we could target that energy where it's needed.
She pounds a fist into her chest, and the human outline of her burns, making the silhouette of her stand out even more starkly against the brightness. And she goes,
It is needed in me. You play ally. You are a stumbling block, an obstacle to my ascension. Some accident of fate or chance pulled me back here where I could not spread my wings. I placed myself in a U-shaped box until I was ready. You speak and breathe because of me. I should owe you loyalty. I should pledge my will to yours.
To each other. I'm all that you have.
You are nothing at all.
Could I use monster empathy here? 11. So I get 2 questions, I think.
I also think, Kira, you are sweating.
Oh, yeah. She's trying to maintain her composure as best she can, but she is absolutely trembling.
And you are also physically warm.
Yep. What does it most desire?
To break free of its U-shaped prison, and the way I want to communicate this is that devour is a sort of incomplete translation of the verb that it wants to do.
What would be a better verb?
Sublimate?
Okay. And then I guess the other question that I would ask is, what would it accept as good enough for now?
Depends on what you mean by for now.
Yeah, I don't know how to quantify that.
Yeah, I think the way that I will phrase it is that it doesn't necessarily have to be this universe.
That she consumes?
Yeah.
Or sublimates?
Yeah.
Okay. And what was the last thing she had said to me?
You said, I'm all you have. She said, you are nothing at all.
If that were the case, how is it that I've been able to trap you all these years? What does that make you? A bird in a cage?
You are the story. I am the scribe. How will you end?
I think Kira looks at Tommy. Well, hopefully I leave this place a little bit better for whoever's left to clean up the mess that you make. But I'd rather not come to that. You don't just want to destroy, you want to change things. But you can't do that right now. I could set you free like this. If I wanted to. If there was a call to. Do you see what working together could actually be a good thing?
Like a king with a dog.
And I think in this scenario, you're the dog.
The eyes flare up. The outline of the exterior of the body begins to become much more definite, as though drawn in space with a burning pen. It starts to grow. The wood of the frame, I think, starts to steam.
Only reason I am not already changing your world into something more useful and perfect is because I was sucked here by an accident. The only reason I don't burn you out from inside is because the salt in your bones is unworthy of my race. The breaking of laws, and it will be punished.
I think Kira is going to walk up straight in front of her.
Roll plus charm. No, roll plus tough.
Can I roll read a bad situation on the inside just to make sure, it's not going to break, is it?
Roll read a bad situation.
10.
Okay. You are able to walk up and not shake at the knees.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled an 8.
One question.
How sturdy is the insight at the moment? It's going to be okay, or do we need to act on it, enforcing it?
If it gets much worse than what's happening now, you will need to act to stop it from being broken from inside.
Can I ask you, Jonny, would the magical effect bar a place or portal to a specific person or type of creature? Would that help in that situation?
I think so. You could temporarily, essentially, sever the magic of the insight. Kira, you walk up to the mirror.
Yeah, we'll look her straight in the burning eyes. You need me, and you know it. So quit acting like I'm some dog on a leash and treat me the way that you should treat me if you want to ever be free of this, she just gestures to her body, prison. I came here to work with you. If you won't do the same, then you will never, ever be set free. And I keep my promises.
The flaming embers will narrow two super bright slits.
You haven't the stomach.
And then they will close and go out. The dark mirror will quite quickly fade back to just being a regular silvery mirror where you see your own face and you have the beginnings of tears in your eyes.
Kira clenches her fists.
Verdigris will throw a tarp over the mirror.
I think Kira steps to the side, prepared to punch the wall, and like tenses up and then doesn't. Fucking bitch.
You will feel a hand on your shoulder.
Who?
Donovan.
What?
I didn't know.
Didn't know what?
You shared real estate with an honest-to-God monster. If I may. Here comes your second mission, Kira. Thus far, the Ember entity has been only theoretically intelligent. She shares little in common with human desires and goals, but at least language and intellectual architecture and the sort of armature of the way that get on with it. Right. The initial trauma of her arrival theoretically led to what, and I'm quoting here, a humanization. If that humanization could be recalled and re-imprinted onto the present day entity, an alliance would perhaps be more plausible.
I see. Is he suggesting like Kira having that memory of what happened or something?
He is suggesting that if you could present Ember with a physical artifact of your childhood, that might remind her what it was like to have transformed herself into an 11-year-old girl. Or 7. I think it was just 7-year-old girl.
It would have to be younger than 8, probably. So yeah, 7. Where would I even...
You know where.
Home?
We'll be with you.
Yeah. Okay, we can do that. We'll go there. I just wasn't expecting that. But don't we need to deal with this forge thing? Shouldn't we do that?
There is also the matter of the second and third fires, yes.
Right. Okay. Oh, okay.
We can tackle the forge first, and that'll give you some time to prepare.
No. If we don't do it now, I won't ever. So we should do it. I don't even know if I remember where it is. Donovan would, though.
Yes, Donovan would remember.
I might need you to bring me back.
He's not looking you in the eye. Are you certain?
I have to try this. I have to try. If we do this, she doesn't really want to just destroy. She wants to change. She wants to sublimate things. Somewhere in there, she's part of me. I just...
Don't be foolish. Do you have to make friends with everything that walks, talks, and thinks? This isn't an ally. It's a fire. Raw power. Pure power. You don't have to make friends with it. Just channel it. Take it.
If I do that, she could destroy me.
He points at the obsidian. Not if you two are tempered.
What the fuck does that even mean?
I'll need time, but her consciousness is something you could just burn her into yourself.
What if she doesn't want to do that?
Do you make a habit of befriending cataclysms?
Well, I try to look at things glass half full.
And I see it as world half ended. Kira, listen. You are relying on human emotion and logic to control something that's barely human itself.
But it is still human. Part of it.
Partly. Take that part. Take the rest. Arm yourself with it.
What if it changes Kira? Like, she could be trying to consume it, but what if it not only is Kira changing her, what if it changes Kira? And then she's no longer who she is. Have you thought about that?
All we are is change. Better that than betrayed and ended.
And what about the worst outcome?
He'll stand up very tall, and he will walk up to you, and he will put his arms behind his back, looking down his nose. Tell me of the worst outcome.
You kill Kira. Ember consumes her and then consumes the world. You're asking her to take a huge risk.
Is Donovan only suggesting this because he doesn't want me to have to deal with that pain again? Is this like a monster empathy question or something I could roll?
Roll monster empathy, yeah.
So I rolled 11.
What are your questions?
Is he doing this because he's trying to, like, protect Kira? Like, what does it desire, kind of?
Partly. What he is trying to impart to you is that trying to turn something like this to your side and trusting it like you would a person is just taking a sociopath at their word. In doing that, he believes would be tantamount to letting her off the leash. The way he knows to handle things like this is to squash it and subjugate or utterly strip it of its will, and then strip it for parts. Use the raw power once the entity known as Ember is dead in order to do whatever it is you would otherwise have done with her as an ally.
So the end goal would be the same, either his way or my way.
Yes.
But his way would be using her as a tool.
A battery.
Yeah.
You could lose her. We could lose her. You want to play that risk? Theo will look to Kira past Donovan, and it's up to her.
Look, either of these ways has its risks. And if it's a choice between working with her or bending her to my whim, that's never who I wanted to be. I have to do this, Donovan. You can't keep me safe from this.
She has us.
We'll manipulate someone, Kira. Theo will help out.
Kira rolled a 10.
Me too.
Then you'll have me too.
Maybe Kira kind of squeezes his hand. Okay, well, we're gonna fucking do this. You know where we need to go.
Oh, Anna could make you that lucky elixir. It really helped me.
Right, yeah, lucky elixir.
I mean, I'm sure Dawnbreak has all the supplies you need, right?
Yeah, I think there was some bourbon. Yep.
What?
Nothing.
Got to.
Kira's gonna vote for her house, childhood house.
Mark, Clayton, what do you want to do?
So I think Mark has plans of his own.
I will be back.
Where are you going?
I have to check on something real quick.
Where are you going?
I'll be right back. Trust me.
Theo's gonna grab your hand.
Mark, roll manipulate someone.
He rolled a 6.
Theo, Mark's trying to ditch you again. Seems like he does this all the time.
Please tell me. You're just squeezing your hand.
Secrets are no fun, says Anna.
You should tell us secrets, Mark, finishes Catrell.
Does she have a glowing coming out of her face?
No, she's just a normal kid. Just a totally normal girl.
Anna just kind of looks at Katra and is like, we'll work on that.
If you're planning to go to the forge alone, it's just a bad idea. Don't go alone.
Not.
Where are you going?
I think I can help, but I need time to do this.
Mark, I appreciate whatever you're trying to do, but this is kind of something I think I need to face.
What's your idea? Tell us.
I can't.
Why?
Just gonna have to trust me on this one.
Mark, roll manipulate someone again.
10.
Theo, if you trust Mark and let him go do whatever he's going to do, you will mark experience, and he will get +1 forward for whatever it is he's going to go do.
Theo's gonna let go of your hand and touch the side of your face. Please, make sure you come back. I need you to come back.
Yeah, we'll come back, says Catrell.
I'll always be here for you and everyone else here.
Anna kind of like crosses her arms. Why does that sound like a goodbye? Why does that sound like a goodbye? Why did that sound like a goodbye? What the fuck, Mark?
And Kira's right. She doesn't need to face this.
Theo's going to kiss you. Come back. And let's step back.
He's going to give you a hug, and then he's going to disappear.
Theo's going to turn to Gad. Do you have any chalk? I'm all out.
Yes, plenty, of course.
Okay, can you? I need some.
Sure.
Is Dawnbreak's floors are like cement, right?
Yeah, at least some of them.
Theo's going to start drawing a tracking spell on the ground and track the bracelet that Theo gave Mark.
Roll use magic.
8.
Pick a glitch.
The effect is weakened. Theo's doing it too fast, and chalk isn't the most effective.
And I think also, like, A lot of the chalk that they have here is like literal classroom chalk.
Mm-hmm.
Keeps breaking.
Need to get you better chalk. Can I get a sense of where Mark may have gone?
Once I have a sense of where Mark may have gone, Mark, where have you gone?
Mark has gone to his house.
Okay, Theo, you are aware that Mark has gone to his house. I think even with the sort of fuzzy location of it, the direction coupled with the fact that you know where the house is, you sort of can fill in some blanks and make some assumptions that like the equations, such as it is, it's heading there.
Okay.
So you are driving out of the city. I think you drive a bit farther than you remember it having been.
Mm-hmm.
The skyline fades into clouds to the point where you can almost barely see it behind the trees and the distant mist. The houses keep getting smaller and further between. And then you finally pull up. It is a 2-story house. You recognize it instantly. The very first thought you think is that you haven't dreamed about it in a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
It is painted a distinctly dingy shade of green with equally dingy yellowed white trim. The lawn is overgrown where it isn't fully dead, and there is a half-rusted station wagon in the driveway. Before the car even stops, Donovan gets out and as if to insist that he's not going to let you go up there alone.
I think on the whole car ride there, I suppose Donovan probably drove just because he knows where he was going. But I'm like, I can't even imagine Donovan driving.
I can't either, and I almost think he can't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he can. I don't think he knows how to drive. Also, Thea, you mentioned you wanted to be doing something on the way.
Yeah, I do.
Let's talk about that.
Theo will be riding in Yano's truck.
Okay.
I think we will be following. Theo wanted to text Jacob, and I just wanted to just say, hey, and just leave it at that. I don't know if he would respond, but...
Roll manipulate someone, and then Mark has something he wants to say.
Yes. Just real quick point of clarification. What did the bracelet do that you gave me, Theo?
Like in general and stuff?
Yeah.
I can tell you it shortly. 15, advanced move.
Okay.
So it protects against possession, +2 armor, 1 shield charge, and Theo can locate them, but not the other way around. And Mark's is dark brown and dark green. It has a red glass bead in it, and Theo's blood.
Mm-hmm.
Through that, can you tell the health of that individual?
No.
Okay. You just know the location.
But I mean, depending on the bond between Theo and Mark, maybe.
That's a hell of a question,
Because we're
Mark.
in love.
This is not making me feel any better. I'm just gonna, I'm really glad I have a woman with a plan hold. That's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, there is also
Yeah.
Lowry, so maybe Lowry can detect. Maybe they have a twin speak like Anna and Kira.
Okay, so yeah, I think I was gonna say on the whole drive here, I wanted to like have Kira like holding, I think for sure Anna's hand, but like maybe Tommy's also, but Tommy would probably be driving then, because I don't think Kira can. It's probably Anna and her in the back, and then Donovan giving directions to Tommy in the front. I think Tommy's driving.
I love that.
I love that also.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 men in her life.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, as mentioned, you pull up to this house. Tommy, Donovan, and Kira for sure are going up and in. Is anyone else going with?
Oh, Anna's for sure going in. I think she's kind of just like, this is hard for her too, by the way, being here. But I think her attention is focused solely on Kira. And she's kind of just like, if I need to jump in at any point, like she's kind of just watching Kira.
I see Anna walking up directly to Kira's side and holding out a hand.
Yep, I think she does that for sure. I think we go up like the front porch, like steps.
Theo, are you going in or are you going to wait in the car?
Theo and Yana will stay. We'll kind of maybe keep watch.
Okay.
I think we're walking in and Anna's like just points to the mailbox and is like, I always hated that mailbox. It's so ugly.
Is it possible, Jonny, for me to do one thing beyond human limitations?
It would depend on what that thing is.
I would like to have super hearing so that I can keep an eye on what's maybe going on in the house.
Roll use magic.
10.
With that, the good news is that because you have successfully directed where you want your super hearing to go. You are not terrified by the sudden loud brink of your phone receiving a text, and then another, and then another, and then another, and then another, and then another.
Okay. Can I look at those text messages?
Here's what they say. From Jacob. Hey, that's it? Have you talked to Dad? Have you seen Dad? Everybody's freaking out. Kath told me I need to come home. Nobody will tell me what happened. Question mark, question mark, question mark?
Unfortunately, I think those text messages distract Theo enough that her spell drops.
Wonderful.
Sorry, bud.
I'm really glad that Theo's here with me.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Kira, you're up at the front door.
Yeah. Does it look like nobody's been here? Like, I kind of want Kira to do like a scan to be like, is this place even being lived in?
Roll read a bad situation.
12 advance move.
Well, I think the free thing that I will tell you is that there is some, but not a lot, of mail in the mailbox, as though it's just from a couple of days. It's been checked with some frequency. It is still labeled Altman, but just the surname.
Mm-hmm.
And there's as you sort of walked up in one of the second story windows, you could see poorly kept, but still pretty alive plant.
Okay.
Now any questions you have?
Any dangers I haven't noticed?
I mean, not physically. It's going to hurt to go inside.
Is there anybody here right now?
Yes,
Okay.
there are 2 people here right now.
Do I know where?
One of them is upstairs in the room with the plant. The other one is on the first floor.
I guess my other question would be, do I know where there would be something that I could grab that would be like a relic of this past that I could grab? Like, where would I need to go? What's my best way in, kind of, to getting to this thing?
It's been a long time. Your best bet would be storage, so basement or attic.
Okay. Kira will reach up and knock on the door.
At first, nothing will happen, so you'll knock again. And then when you go to knock for a third time, I think Donovan will pound on the wall opposite the door. And then from inside, you'll hear just like a, "Hi, jeez, oh my God." And then the interior door, but not the like storm door, will open, and obscured by the weathered kind of dingy glass is a tired looking woman, old before her time. She's maybe in her mid to late 30s, prematurely gray, kind of aggressively comfortably dressed, I would say.
Aggressively comfortably. You're
Like
gonna have to
Dressed
be more specific.
exclusively for comfort. Like
Okay.
a
I feel
really
attacked.
ugly,
I exclusively dress comfortably.
a really ugly kind of ill-fitting ratty sweater and some like stained sweatpants that cinch at the bottom.
Do I recognize this woman?
Yeah, this is Heidi Altman, one of your older sisters. She looks straight through you, looks Donovan up and down, looks Tommy up and down. If you're selling, we ain't buying.
Heidi?
Okay, look, I didn't open that credit card. It was my shithead ex. I've told you a million times, you go after him. I don't care how fancy your suit is. My answer's not going to change.
You clearly don't remember me. I used to live here. I'm your sister. 20 years ago, I was taken away from here.
Roll manipulate someone.
11.
I think you hear, still muffled by the gross glass door, a shaky, "Abby? Mark, what are you doing?"
Mark is doing research right now, and I'm about to send you a bunch of information on it, but
Oh boy, why don't you send me by means of your words and say them out loud?
so I want to do some more research to find out more about some more information about Theo's bracelet to see if I can kind of reverse engineer that and its symbols to tether or ground myself to my basement. I also like to give Theo full access to my health and location. I also need time to develop this, but, and hear me out on this one, some immunity to Oscar and Ember. I feel like I potentially lose part of myself to accomplish this, possibly through blood magic. Maybe this allows me to cut corners to accomplish a very complicated spell, be able to make this work. I'd get close to Oscar to allow him to basically consume part of me, unexpectedly allowing me to get in.
Did you take the stones with you? Because I think we had them at Dawnbreak, didn't we?
I still have my smaller one with me.
Okay.
So I have it in here. I'd flirt non-sexually with Oscar to get close to him to allow him to consume part of me, possibly. It gets me close enough to get through to Ember unexpectedly and use that unique connection on the other side to take advantage of or witness or expose a side of Ember that she might be putting up, or she or he might be putting up, in hopes that I'd be able to kind of find a weakness in this to be able to help Kira.
Well, you kind of already helped me with that when we first made contact and got the tears, didn't we? Like, he kind of knows a little bit already about remember when you got Kira to like those tears, when you connected in Kira's mind?
I'm trying to remember what those tears did.
They were part of the insight.
That was how we were able to use that mirror in the first
Demon
place.
tears.
We needed those tears from Ember and me.
I like where your head is at.
So that is essentially it, is that I'm doing research right now to be able to ground myself, protect myself a little bit, and also expose a side of Ember that would be a weakness or a one-up for Kira when she faces this individual, Ember,
Okay.
that we wouldn't be able to otherwise accomplish, getting an unexpected drop on Ember.
Also, I would maybe, if Mark wants the help, Lowry could totally be available to help you too, like with Ketrel's help. Like, he doesn't have to come to Kira's house.
Well, I mean, that's up to...
Yeah, I was leaving his
Whereabouts
sort of,
unknown.
yeah, unclear in case either of you needed him. So I do think, actually, I think after the whole, you gotta trust me, Larry would have squinted his eyes and flown
Sus.
after you.
Yeah, I kind of think Anna would have been like, follow him.
This never ends well.
That sounded like a goodbye. Follow him.
On it. So here's the first thing that has to happen. You go down into your basement in your den/ritual room. And first we'll set about making your preparations. So between what Catrell knows of sky magic and Lowry too, and what you've observed from Theo and Nick.
So wait, is Catriel there too?
Catrell and Lowry are there with you and helping you.
Okay.
So I think the first thing that you wanted to do was to
study the bracelet
and sort of basically amp up its connection between you and Theo.
and figure out a way through, I don't know, I do some research on the symbols or something like that to see if I can ground myself to this room in case I need to get pulled, or when I need to get pulled back, basically.
So the first thing will be the bracelet. Roll use magic.
8.
Pick a glitch.
Take 1 harm.
All right. So I think the only way that you know how to do this is with blood. So you use some, and because I think your efficiency with it is not good, you have to use kind of a lot of it. So that'll be that 1 harm. Theo, the map waypoint beacon that there is for each of the people who are wearing these bracelets, the one for Mark lights up.
Okay.
Not in a alert kind of way, just in, it's brighter, it's stronger. It's basically, I think you can essentially tell he's doing something to it.
Okay.
Imagine you reaching out and being like, what's going on? And be like, stop it, I'm messing with it.
Theo turns to look and you hear Yano say, someone coming?
No. Mark's doing something.
Oh, that may not be good.
No, I trust him.
Yano returns to his binoculars and looks back at the house.
Jonny, would it be possible if I use astral vision, instead of me getting the plus forward, can it go to Mark?
No.
Okay, never mind.
Trying to...
I will allow you to sort of channel through the bond of your love, some kind of...
Wow, you make it sound so horrible, Jonny.
No, it's kind of reminiscent of when we, in Not Alone, when we fought against the werewolves, because Mark and Theo had the same kind of connection. And I think every time that you did something, you could roll help out. So it's the same thing.
You had some super connection. So you could roll help out and you can send him some help. He's strengthened the connection, and through that connection, you can send magic, which will be functionally you helping out. So you've done that. That's happened. It's bloody and it's kind of gross. And I honestly think not knowing what else to do, Catrell is wiping up some blood off the ground.
I think Mark is just like on his hands and knees, just like, thank you. All right. Then on to the next thing, which was...
You wanted to sort of be grounded to this place to be pulled back should you need to.
Grounded and shielded. I'm going to mix those together.
I think that's fair. So I think what that's going to sort of entail is drawing out summoning circle, placing the obsidian slab in the center of it, or is it the stone or the slab?
It's a stone. I wouldn't have been able to get away with the slab.
Fair. It doesn't necessarily
like, where are you
matter.
going with that?
It's just that in this case, you'll like outline the stone on the floor with the chalk.
Mhm.
And then from there, we'll go out this like curvy spider web that ends in like a sort of jagged circle, which will create a kind of porous membrane between the place within and the place without, that you should be able to sort of go in more grounded to this place than that one and shielded from anything that might damage you within. Roll use magic. Theo, roll help out.
11.
11.
So that's a 12. So yeah, basically up from the...
Wait. Well, I guess this doesn't matter. Doesn't Mark get +1 from like before? Remember when he was manipulating me? I got to mark experience and then mark...
I did say that. Theo, roll help out.
Again?
Yes.
12.
Okay. Because that would have changed Mark's previous 8 to a 9. And that would have changed Mark's previous... that 9 to a 10. So...
Mark has no harm.
Has no harm.
Thanks, Theo.
Point is, up from the obsidian stone, we'll sort of begin to just, at first, it's just a sort of whirling of wind that sort of catches some of the loose chalk dust in its wake. And then up from it will sort of rise this inky black and paper white tornado that will then like bend back and then lean towards you to create this like snaky opening.
I think Mark, 50% confident about what he's doing, just kind of like reshuffles and kind of stands his ground a little bit.
You back up in there, Lowry?
I think Mark just shakes his head. Just watch the circle. Because I would assume the circle contains whatever this thing is.
Yeah. He'll nod to Catrell, and then the two of them will basically go to opposite sides of the circle and kneel down to be ready to sort of activate it.
I think Mark is going to take a step into the circle.
Okay. As you step into the circle, like a single thread of red-orange will knit itself up from the obsidian stone into the tornado. Like the opening, the eye of this tornado is sort of now bent towards you. And as this red begins to suffuse itself throughout it, it gets into the rim of that opening and widens it into a huge oval door. Inside, you can see a red, blasted, almost looks like what you imagine the surface of Mars to look like. And the sky is black and starless, but there's definitely some kind of warm light source inside.
The rim of this thing is just kind of this part of this tornado still and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's sort of
right?
like the gates from like Doctor Strange, like a swirling tornado that's sort of been augmented with this red kind of moving flame.
I think Mark is going to take a couple steps towards it. And as he takes his final steps towards it, he, just like a parachuter jumping out of a plane, they grab that door with both hands. And I'm going to be grabbing kind of both of those rims.
Hot to the touch and moving.
I was going to say, it probably deteriorates my hands a little bit. But I'm going to grab this thing and channel as much energy as I can to get through it, to get close to.
What's in here, remember, is Oscar, who is a sort of reverse engineered version of Ember. I'm going to have that be act under pressure.
14 advanced move.
Gunga damn.
I know that he doesn't need it, but does Theo need to help out?
Yes. Yes, she does.
10.
But I think there is still the side effect that goes like this. You sort of like, Theo, send off another spark of your helpful magic, and it goes to Mark, and it reaches him, and then that sort of bright light that you can half see in your sort of magical plane of vision, it's like a cloud flying in front of the sun. It's gone. You don't know where he is anymore. With that, I want to go back to the door. Kira, an unbelieving Heidi Altman. I don't get it.
What don't you get?
Well, you're obviously not here for money, she'll gesture to Donovan.
No, not for that. I needed to come back here to get some peace of mind. Could I come in?
We'll manipulate someone.
9.
She's going to look at Anna. Who's the rock star with your face?
I don't look exactly like her, to be clear, but I was here too, in a way. Anna. Sometimes when she was a little bit more spunky, you might have met me.
Okay. So you went out and found someone to be your real-life imaginary friend?
Heidi would have seen Donovan's wings that day too, right?
Yeah.
The kids in the car.
And so I think that the consequence of that role is actually going to be she'll open the door and then you sort of step in. She will put a hand on him and say, not him. Donovan will look down at the hand that is sullying his suit. And then he will look at you expectantly as if to say, how precisely should I break this wrist?
I think she will actually grab Heidi's wrist and take it off of Donovan. He goes where I go.
Mm-mm.
I think you know that the day that he came and took me, this world isn't as simple as most people would have you believe. You saw what he was that day. You know what our father was. He's a different type of monster. And he took me away from that.
That wasn't all he took away. As long as this is his roof, he doesn't get to be under it.
Oh, Heidi.
Don't you talk about Dad like he's past tense.
He was the day that I walked out of this house.
Then come get your shit and get out.
Fine. Is there anything left of me in this house?
I don't know, might be some boxes.
Where? Basement?
Probably, as I'm sure as shit not letting you upstairs.
Why? What's upstairs?
She just shoots you a look like, you know.
He's up there?
Don't you dare with your fucking fancy friends. Your fucking fancy clothes. Your fucking tall-ass boyfriend. Don't you come stomping in here like you know this place anymore. I know why you're really here.
Oh, really? Tell me why, Heidi.
Think you got wronged? Think you got saved by your devil in the details out there? I don't care what you think happened to you here. You put foot one on those stairs going up there, I'll break them.
I'd like to see you try. Kira's gonna pull it out her fucking wings.
Roll plus tough.
Damn it. I am going to use a luck point.
Oh boy.
Oh, man.
Yeah, all the blood will drain out of her face. And she will back up until she hits a table that she did not expect to be there and half falls over it. And she's not looking at you, she's looking at your wings as though they are each individually awe-inspiring monsters, angels.
You don't know what happened to me the second that I left this house. You never cared when I was in this house. Dad never cared. None of you cared.
She points at Donovan.
That man is my father. You were never my family.
Just don't hurt him.
He's not worth it. Kira's gonna walk down to the basement. Are you coming, Donovan?
He will step very deliberately into the room and then also looking at Heidi, who is fully shaking and crying and motionless except for the racking of fear-based sobs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to do some dark fucking comic relief. But I do want him to kind of be like, would be an interesting source of spell components, just saying.
No.
And he'll follow you downstairs.
Well, wasn't that fun? Yeah.
Pleasant.
I love everything about what just happened and totally not being facetious at all. Anyway, let's go away from this dark, horrible place and talk about good things. Maya, you've got announcements, don't you?
I do have announcements. Here's what's coming up. Our next episode of The Cover Story will be available in 2 weeks from now on April 9th. And then on April 2nd, we have a new episode of The House of Graves.
Woo-hoo.
I'm very excited. I hope that our patrons are enjoying it because it is a lot of fun to play with two of our very good friends, Mike and Sarah. And for Lauren to run it. She's doing an amazing job.
Say nice things about me.
You're super talented and you do amazing voices and put me in situations that I asked for and then regret, but in a good way. Foreshadowing for the future. And speaking of Patreon, we have a new Patreon to welcome in Allie. Welcome.
Woo!
We're so
Welcome.
happy that you are here. Welcome to the Ears Agent tier. We hope that you enjoy your Patreon exclusive sticker, Sky Kingdom postcards, part of our 3 postcard Kingdoms of the Air series, as well as access to Docker's highlights and a little bit more.
Episodes, all that good stuff. All right. I've got some reminders for you guys before we get back to the sadness.
Remind me.
If you would like to support the show, one of the best ways to do that is to leave us a rating and review. You guys, I can't express how much I enjoy reading your words about us, about this show. We love them. We read every single one that we get, so keep them coming. Whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever listening platform of choice that you use, just leave a rating review. It means the world to us, and be sure to tell your friends about us because word of mouth is the best way for us to get noticed. Also, you can always follow us on our social media platforms. We're on Twitter at Monster Playbook, and everywhere else, Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, and Blue Sky Social at Monsters Playbook. If you want to connect with us more directly, please join us in our Discord server. I promise we're cool and we're nice.
We're
we also
friendly.
do listening parties. Sometimes we have game nights, and it's just an all-around pretty chill place. And of course, if you would like to support us monetarily, you can subscribe to our Patreon, which we've talked about, but you can also head over to our merch store or our Ko-fi page if you want to show us some love. Links to all of these things and more can be found in our Direct Me profile, which is in this episode's show notes.
This week, we have a promo for Mage Hand High Five. This band of writers, storytellers, and friends weave tales outside of the normal world and genres of Dungeons & Dragons. Their first campaign is called The Badlands, a story told in a desert wasteland that is more than it appears. Legend has it that something truly powerful lies dormant and awaiting a lucky or unlucky gunslinger to uncover it. Let's learn more.
The Badlands. A truly God-forsaken place. You'd have to be crazy to leave the safety of Threed for its sands. Legend has it that beneath this blighted earth, something truly powerful lies dormant, calling out to any traveler brave or desperate enough to listen. One day, aboard a doomed train into the wastes, 3 strangers heed that call. A shape-shifting bounty hunter,
Stranger's gone by many names, friend.
a runaway socialite,
Okay, girl, well, you just did your mascara, so no more crying for today.
and a former thief turned family man.
I promise that I will be back, and I will do my absolute best to right you.
Will our runaways find what they're looking for?
I mean, we're already here, let's have a little fun.
You really went in there, guns blazing.
I thought that was the plan.
My potions are miraculous.
I thought we were being quiet.
Oh, Stump only has 1 volume, sorry.
Wild roses grow out of his mouth, having filled his lungs.
What's happening out there?
Violence.
Find out on Mage Hand High Five, The Badlands. And just between you and me, they ain't got a chance in hell.
You can learn more and follow Mage Hand High Five on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok, as well as on their website at magehandhighfive.com, which we've linked in our episode show notes. All right, Maya, let's get back to the sadness.
Are
the
you ready?
trauma. No.
Let's just sing our way into it. How about that? Sing us away, Lauren.
Goodbye.
Theo.
Yeah.
Mark is gone. There is another 5 question marks text from Jacob. And Yano is like, they have all eventually made it inside.
Oh, who?
He just gestures towards the door.
Oh,
Like a...
yeah. There's a lot going on.
There's one thing going on, Zorella.
Theo's going to look back down at her phone. She's going to tell Jacob, don't come home. It's not safe. No, I haven't seen or talked to Dad.
He is going to send you a screenshot of the text that he's been having with Kathleen.
Great.
And then 10 more question marks. In the screenshot of those text messages, Kathleen, did you feel that in all caps? Exclamation point, question mark. Even you must have felt it. Jacob, what? Did somebody have a dream? Is there a weather thing? Kathleen, the magic how you drip. Was it you? Jacob, why would it have been me? Kathleen, come home. We can't find father. None of the tracks are alight. We need all the help we can get. And then like that thing where there's like a hard return between texts because some time has passed. And then she says, didn't you feel it, brother? In your blood? And then 10 question marks. And then a animated question mark emoji.
Theo will text him back. Don't come home. You're safer in Chicago. Something happened to the Magica.
Roll manipulate someone.
Maybe you should give him a call.
No.
I just think it'd be interesting.
Is it manipulate someone?
I sure did.
8.
Your phone rings.
Shit. Why did he put this in his head, Lauren?
He was thinking about it already.
Crap. Decline.
Are you dodging bill collectors? Are you not rich?
I'm dodging my brother.
Is he not your brother? Wait, which brother?
Jacob. He lives in Chicago. Last time we talked, it didn't end well.
There is a Jacob?
Yeah, he's the only one who kind of got out clean. And he was trying to help me, but...
But now you are dodge his calls.
He was talking to Kathleen, and apparently my father is missing, and I'm telling him don't come home. He's probably safer in Chicago.
And he calls to ask you a question, and you dodge his call. Your phone rings again.
Decline. Yeah, I don't want to, talk to him. I mean, not on the phone. The last time when we talked, it didn't go well. He pretty much wanted me out of his life.
Your phone dings. You got another text.
Yeah, what's it say?
Are you even okay?
Yes, I'm fine. I can't talk right now.
Your phone rings one more time.
Come on, Theo.
Would you real quick roll act under pressure?
9.
Your phone is snatched out of your hand.
No!
Beep. Theonesos. You hear like...
What are you doing?
Plenty safe. I am looking right at her. Yes. No fire. Ice. Is ice a concern for your family? No. 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 Yes. Yes. Wait. You are the art brother. Yes. They still hang in your family's halls, you should know. No, not there. No. Well, do stay in Chicago.
What are you saying? What is he saying?
You are hear what I am saying.
No, but what is he saying?
He says his phone explodes with words. Text message.
Oh, his phone is blowing up with messages.
Is this not what I said?
Kind of. Is he okay?
He sounds quite worried. Shall we create for ourselves a shortcut between you, I, and your brother? And he holds out the phone.
Theo will take the phone. Hello?
Is that fucking Yano?
Yeah.
Are you in Duluth?
No.
So Yano's in the city.
Yes.
What the hell is going on down there?
A lot of things.
A lot of things is par for the course, Theo. I don't get texts when there's a lot of things going on. Sounds like there's one big thing.
Yeah, it depends on whose perspective and who you're talking to. It could be one big thing or it could be multiple big things.
This isn't a philosophy class. Tell me what's going on, or I'm getting on the megabus.
No, stay there. Something happened to the Magica.
I've heard.
Can you feel the shift in the magical sphere? The magical environment?
I endeavor not to. The only kind of magic I do happens in Photoshop, Theo.
Like I said, something happened to the Magica, and you said that father's missing. I didn't know that. I don't know where he is. I don't know what happened.
While we're on the topic, why does Deacon sound different?
Could you be more specific?
Nice.
He sounds nice?
Yup.
That's weird.
Like somebody took 10 years of smoking out of his mouth.
Wait, you mean like he was talking nice to you, or like he is a cheerier voice?
Would my answer to this question change your answer to my question?
Well, when you said that he sounds nice, like it sounds like you're meaning that like he's more polite, which is very unlike Deacon.
I agree. It's just when I try to ask the twins, they just tell me to come help them. And you know I can't get anything out of Ben. So I just want somebody to tell me what's going on.
Can I ask you a question first?
One question. Then please answer one of mine.
Did you know that Dad killed Selena?
There's a long, breathing pause. You can hear a door close.
Jacob?
And then a flump.
Well, that's a hell of a question, Theo.
You haven't answered it yet. Did you know?
Is it true?
I'm like 99% sure. I know you don't want anything to do...
I mean, the guy's a dick to death, but that's his daughter.
And you don't want anything to do with magic and Magica and the family, but I've recently learned that our Magica comes from the souls of the dead and is more potent if it comes from the souls of our family. I don't know exactly if there was a...
So it's like Mulan?
When someone dies, their spirit can get trapped here, and we can take that spirit, that soul, and turn it into dead life. And then from that dead life, we can turn it into Magica and power our magic. I also found a number of spirits that I believe the family has been keeping and just slowly dissolving into dead life. And they're just stuck here. And I'm not talking about months. I'm talking about decades. I tried finding Selena. She's gone.
You're not supposed to try to find the dead.
I know, but I need answers.
Because they're not there. There's
Nobody's there.
It was right in front of us. There's no dead to contact.
There was one, though. The first Bennett.
Why him? Why only him?
That's where it started. That's where the Magicas began. Stay in Chicago. Don't come home.
You're right. I can do more good from here anyway. Stay safe, Theo.
What do you mean?
Click.
What? Shit, Theo's gonna call him.
Now you'll get to see what it's like not to get answered.
Hi, you've reached Jacob Nash. If you're calling in regards to some of my design work, you can leave a message, or you can
hang up and call again.
Hi, you've reached Jacob Nash. If you're calling in regards to some of my design work, you can check out my portfolio at jnash.com.
Damn it, darn it, Jacob. Hang up. Can Theo roll, like, preparedness? Does she have anything of Jacob's on her? Like, I don't know, would she have kept, like, a keychain or something from his place when she stayed with him?
Do you have preparedness?
No.
Then what would you be rolling?
I guess nothing.
I mean, do you have Woman with a Plan? That would be the perfect time to have
No, I have
to spend a
sympathetic
flashback
token.
hold and be like, I will always have I knew this was going to happen, so when I left his place, I made sure to take one of his business cards or like a piece of
I'm going to
his-
call Jacob again.
This time, he answers and immediately hangs up.
I'm going to text him. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? You haven't used magic in how long?
For what feels like 5 entire agonizing minutes, has the 3 dots. And then finally, helping. And then very quickly, my way.
I don't want you to get hurt. You're going to put yourself in danger.
He won't respond. I want to go back to Mark. So you stepped inside of this place.
I held the thing and didn't go to the place, but connected with, or did I go through?
As I have it, you had your hands on the sort of edge of the place, and you said like a skydiver. I assumed that to mean that you were going to sort of hurl yourself in.
I mean, get closer to, like, I know this thing wanted me to go through this portal there, but what I was trying to do is, you know, I was saying I was going to be kind of flirting with that with like, I'm going to, and instead I grab the edge of this thing and just hold on to it as if, just basically diverting where I'm going here. It wants me to go through there, but I'm going to connect and get to Ember basically, is what I was thinking. If you had something different, that's fine. That's what I was thinking.
I'm going to call that a weird roll. I'm going to call that a roll weird.
Okay. All right.
Either way, I think you are still out of Theo's vision, in quotes.
Yep. I agree. 12.
Sick. Okay. So remember how I described it as like a tornado?
Mm-hmm.
You know how did you ever do that thing when you were a kid where you would like take your bike upside down and spin the tire as fast as you possibly could and then try to stop it?
Yes.
It's like that. You have to hold it really hard, and you have to hold it really hard with something other than just your physical hands. But you do it, and you sort of maintain this stable and safe passageway, and you draw the attention of the thing that's inside. Into view walks frumpily dressed, late middle-aged man who is fully on fire. He is wearing a brown wool suit that keeps just melting to ash and then sort of coming back after the ash flakes off and then bursting into flames again. His skin keeps flaking away to bone and then growing back. His hair is in a constant state of like going up like tinder. And he looks at you very calmly through his eyes that themselves keep boiling and bursting and then growing back.
Can I represent myself as the demon figure that I've been?
I will allow that to ride.
Okay.
What you are doing in your holding of this and is your presentation of yourself as someone who can stop this and who has a degree of power.
Well, what I want to do is, I don't know how this is going to work, but I basically want, has Embers seen this form of me before through Kira's eyes?
Likely. And again, to be clear, the consciousness of this thing that you are looking at is not Ember at all. This is the man-made version of Ember, Oscar Henriksen. Any connection that you will have to Ember will happen via some kind of further back door. To answer your question directly, the entity looking at you now has not seen you in this form. He's seen you in your normal form in the Dead Sea when you fought him there, but I don't think you've presented to him this way.
So my identity is essentially obscure at this point.
If that's what if you are trying to fully obscure your identity so that he does not recognize you as Mark Clayton, I would make you roll manipulate someone. If you want to look demony and scary, I would allow that to ride from your previous roll.
I want it to be functional, so like, yeah, it would be to hide my identity there. So I'll do a roll for that.
Then roll manipulate someone. Maya?
Do I help out?
Yes. Oh wait, no. Your connection is broke.
Oh, so like the whole cloud thing is broken.
Mark is concealed from you. Yeah.
I rolled a 4.
He steps and in his like constantly burning face, he sort of squints his only sometimes there eyelashes and eyebrows and goes, are you attempting to appear intimidating? This connection you have made to this prison you have placed me in and the connection you have made between your area and mine are impressive, but this cannot hold. There are no proper bars here. There is no cage. And your wings have no function. I know this.
Did this visualization of me have wings?
You have on occasion been making fire wings that are just like flames coming out of your back in kind of the shape of wings. Your eyes are quite powerful, as is clearly your willpower. But you must understand, I was made so powerful I had to be removed from the earth. Let us speak of what you came here for. It has been very long.
What has been very long? And I think as Mark is saying this, he undemonizes.
I have been alone, aflame.
Surely that's been a painful existence, is it not?
He looks at his hand, which burns down to bone, clenches his fist, and it grows back into bubbling flesh again. Pain, as all things, one becomes accustomed to. Simply a dull baseline.
And what do you want? If you had the grasp of whatever it is you want, what is that? What do you desire?
This is two separate questions. He pounds his chest. You know when you have embers on a fireplace that has gone out, and you hurl something at it, and it makes it flare up. Pounds his chest, and he goes, "What I want is to devour, consume, flash, boil, render from matter into ash. But what I desire is simply an end, rest, oblivion, the absence of this unending will to which I too am shackled."
So that's it? You want somebody to just end this? To be able to find an end to this? It doesn't sound like you, from what we've known of you.
Perhaps not the me of 2 decades prior. The killing of one such as me being so impossible makes this perhaps the final and finest large question to which, if I could but see the answer, would be as satisfying as was the mysteries I once devoted my life to the solving of. I have experimented endlessly. Death will not come to me from me.
Just so I'm understanding, this illusion of Oscar and stuff like that is a piece of Ember, or how are those two related?
Let me recap the entire story, because I think some of the actual specifics of this did happen off camera. That after having discovered the entity that Dad accidentally brought back from the future with her gravity powers in Operation Tourniquet that became Abigail, that became Kira, Oscar and E. Garrett Goldman were studying that entity, its powers, its energy signature, and at a certain point endeavored to essentially reverse engineer that kind of god of destruction. And for whatever reason, they did it with Oscar's brain. They cracked him open, they put it in his head, and they saw if a god of flame and destruction could come from the future and turn into a human, could we push him in the present to becoming such a god of flame and destruction? It worked too well, and they knew that the only way to prevent him from accidentally devouring Earth and this entire universe was to send him there. Mm-hmm. They sent him to the sea, and he burned up. He killed the sea. And then you went and you were fighting against him. You trapped him in your obsidian. It's not even necessarily an illusion. This is him. It's his energy, it's his spirit, it's what's left of him. It's what will never go away of him.
An ember, then, is
the sort of natural thing on which he is based. He's a manufactured god.
He was created in her image, basically.
Well put.
Yeah.
The energy signature, the base desire, the base want is all the same. I will taunt you with the tantalizing hope that there may be some tangential exploitable connection between the two of them, but at the very least, you should be able to learn something about how to deal with Ember, or about what else you might try to do next.
Ember is your foundation, correct? It's what keeps you alive. That's what drives this endless existence.
Ember. This is a much more appropriate name.
What have you known Ember to be, if not Ember?
She was designated Object Abigail. She became a little girl so quickly. It felt respectful. Well, we'd already given her a name. Respect had been paid.
I think Mark, realizing what Kira has went through, and just when, he says experiments, just kind of clenching his fists a little bit, but restraining himself. Well, you say that you're stuck. You have done endless experiments.
You have pulled me from my proper cage into this prison van. I will not be able to help but to break from here. Your flames, they are mundane. They are earthly, human. Mine, beyond control. Where you have put me is damning your world. You know they called obsidian the gate stone. It will open for me one way or another. You know I can stop it. As long as I am here in this form, it is as inevitable as the sunrise. Count your days. If you have become friends with this Ember, as you call her, warn her she will be disappointed to escape from her own cage and find this universe devoured already. And, I am ashamed to say, probably poorly. She was truly magnificent, you must understand.
Like, do I see any, like, tethers or connections to Ember?
I want you to roll tune in.
10.
Okay. So I think the thing that you, when you like look at him, like really look at him and look at him with magical investigation in mind, he more than anything seems resigned.
Right, and that's what I'm gauging. And
but there is some other thing in him that is slamming at the bars of a cage.
Oh, he's trapped 100% in this area.
No, he's trapping something else. Like, there is some nameless, insatiable, manifested lizard brain that is barely being held back, that you basically recognize as the same barely restrained hunger that you saw in the insight mirror at Dawnbreak.
Was that the same creature that Theo had, like, absorbed into her eye at one point?
Yes. Not only was this created in her image, when you can see it as separate from the person that it's possessing or manifesting within, they actually did a pretty damn good job of copying her. So pick your next couple questions carefully, because anything you learn about this thing is also going to be true about Ember.
That kind of makes me wonder if, like, if we were to get this forge thing working, could we take whatever that piece is from Ember and combine it with the rest of Oscar's energy, if that's even a possibility?
And what, weaponize it or what?
Well, just merge it into one, and then if we can figure out what to do with it, to destroy it or to put it in the heat sink device, what we would do with it at that point, I don't know. But the energy, I mean, what I'm picking up what he's putting down, it's that it's so convincingly the same energy that, like, it could be combined potentially, or like, yeah, like you could, maybe it could merge. We could take it out of Kira that way or something. I don't know. This is too confusing.
I'm needing you guys to... I'm putting you in a very impossible situation deliberately. I want to see how you're going to get out of this.
We'll just turn the other way.
Just let Mark die.
No, never.
No, don't worry. If Mark doesn't die now, Kira's Ember will get everybody later.
But speaking of Mark dying, after this whole thing with Jacob, can Theo focus back on Mark and try and push that cloud away?
I will let you do precisely that, and then we got to check in with Kira. Roll use magic.
8.
Pick a glitch.
The magic draws immediate unwanted attention.
Very pleased. Kira, so you go down into this basement, and it's like that kind of unfinished basement where you can see the rafters, there's some wood pillars, some concrete pillars, concrete floor, definitely like a visible, rusted, stained ass drain, and then kind of just shit everywhere. Huge, like, shelves full of, like, banker boxes, piles of old newspapers, probably a lot of them on the floor. A lot of those have been water damaged, and so they're just like bricks of inky pulp.
Mm-hmm.
And you are suddenly struck by the extremely visceral feeling that somewhere upstairs and outside, someone's hurting your brother, and an oddly maternal urge to rush to his aid.
I think she's confused, but I think she kind of goes along with it. I was also wondering, Jonny, would now be a good time to roll Not Quite Myself?
Sure. That would be a perfect time to roll that.
13.
Okay. And can you, for the listeners, tell us what that implies?
Yes. So not quite myself. 10 plus, an altar has something useful to offer. Ask Keeper 2 of the questions below. What secret does this altar know that I don't?
Which altar?
Well, can I tell, like, the energy? It kind of gave me Ruth vibes.
What do you mean?
Like, because you were saying, like, your brother is getting, like, hurt and you feel this want to, like, protect him or comfort him, I think is what you said.
Uh-huh.
Which gave me Ruth vibes because she's kind of like the caretaker.
I will tell you that is not...
It's not Ruth.
No.
Who was it?
Ember.
Oh, okay. Well, then my intent was to try to get in tune with whatever altar was having that feeling.
Oh, get in tune with that?
Yeah.
Well, I will tell you then, it won't help you with what you're down here for. I will warn you of that, if that's what you're doing.
No, yeah, I want to figure out what this memory seems to be. What secret does this altar know that I don't?
So OOC, the reason you are having this feeling is because Theo failed her role. Mixed success did. And it drew the attention of Ember herself through Theo toward this copy. And so now Ember has been focused via Theo on Mark and Oscar because, yeah, I think this makes sense. It is such a perfect copy because it's her. It's a sliced off piece of her, which means, Mark Clayton, you are indeed talking to Oscar Henriksen and Ember herself.
Cool.
So that's what you learned, Kira. What do you want to do?
And she wanted me to go help my brother?
Her brother as in like who's with Oscar.
That's what it felt like.
As in like Oscar. Oh,
Yes.
well then in that case, I think she's like going to be like, what the? No.
Okay. I think you'll get a hand on your shoulder from Tommy. You'll be like, are you okay? Mark, armed with this knowledge that like, I think you also get this beacon of attention from Theo that comes along with all of this, that it's like, wait a minute, you can't copy a mind. They broke off a piece of her. This is exactly what you were hoping to find here. What do you want to know? What do you want to do? What do you want to take? What do you want to give? What's the outcome you're hoping for?
Establish a weakness of Ember and capitalize on taking that when Ember's guard is down, dealing with everybody else. Because I know that was now the focus is on me and stuff like that. But as I was talking to Oscar, kind of feeling out the situation, observing the atmosphere that he's in, and looking for a way to undermine it, I guess.
Do you want a combat weakness?
A restriction weakness. Like I'm able to see something and disable something or disconnect something. Make it not have something that it should have to retain its hold or its power. I don't know.
Here's what I think. This is so good. You are uniquely capable of understanding precisely this chink in precisely this armor, because you too were once in your long life a sort of floating, directionless consciousness. Prior to becoming a prince, prior to becoming Mark, you were an ambient energy with only potential and without a will to focus it. That is the thing that can be separated. There is a will, there is an identity, and then there is the power. What you are looking at
is just raw power.
And that power is being attached as it is to Oscar, and him being unwilling or unable to sever it from himself.
Severing that focus from the raw energy.
If you disconnected the two of them, that energy would simply be a tool. To be clear, the kind of energy that it would be like holding a already fired torpedo, that it would still have this huge amount of potential energy that would have to be expertly held or contained or redirected. Without the will to focus it, it's more pliable and reusable.
Can Mark act as a mirror?
What do you mean by that?
So to sever this connection, that energy needs to go somewhere. It needs to be, well, it will be released and needs to be handled expertly. Can Mark basically sever this energy to point it towards Ro, to have her siphon it? I act as a bypass instead of getting in front of it. Or does that kill me in the process?
It would kill her. You hear a voice behind you, distant and echoey. No, don't you get it? That's just what he wants. To burn the sky. Kill it just like the sea. The forge, Mark. We need to turn it back on him. I don't know how, but he's the one who brought it here. He's the reason there's a copy. He can predict the future, but I know he can't predict you. Take what you've learned here to redirect the other one. The stones will hold, the will can be melted, smashed, and reformed. Then we will reveal the path together. Carve it. I have made a practice not ordering my princes. I advise you not to point a cannon where your enemy would aim it.
So that still begs the question, what do we do with this energy after I sever it? Because that's going to be loose energy.
We'll just leave it, because we'll bring it to the forge.
What we want to do, I think, is I think right now, Ro's plan is the best plan. We need to get the different energies that's these two separate energies of Oscar that we have separated, as well as the version that's in Kira. If we can combine them into one,
yes, then
we can figure out what to do with it.
Okay. Well, so I've gotten some knowledge from this and stuff like that. Is there anything I can take from this? As anything else that I feel like I can take from this? And maybe that's a question for me still. Or do I just back out of there now knowing kind of what I know?
I think in the baldest faced of ways, the thing that you can take from this at the very least is that Donovan's plan would also work. You could crush the identity and essentially, to the extent that it is a person, kill the person, and then take the energy represented by it and then turn it to your own purposes.
We're not going to do that.
I think the other thing that you have learned here is that the will within your stones, as represented by Oscar, has no survival instincts. Oscar's will to live essentially extends exactly as far as he can prevent that energy inside of him from devouring the earth. He would sure like to be free of it, but if he rests, the universe dies. So Kira had asked her a question. The question was answered, and she sort of hesitated. Tommy put a hand on her shoulder and went, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, I think it just... I get the feeling that Ember's energy is... I don't know, she's focusing her attention somewhere. I can't...
I guess it must be weird for you, both of you, to be back here. I don't know how this works.
Neither do I. I still have one more question for Not Quite Myself.
I would allow this question to go to a different altar if you'd like.
Because the idea here was to get something like a token of our time here or something. I feel like maybe I would ask Ruth, what resources does this altar have access to that could help here? And specifically, like if she knows where I should look, or what would be the piece of token that I would need to take back.
You walk towards, without knowing why, one of these cardboard banker boxes.
Yeah.
And you open it up, and it is just shit stuffed inside. It's like old shoes, sweaters, t-shirts, school uniforms probably, and not quite at the bottom in one of the corners. I think it's one of those speckled composition notebooks.
Yep.
And the front has neatly written on it, Abigail, that has been playfully scribbled out, and it's been written Kira.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like it was drawn by a little kid. Like Abigail is written very plainly, as though written by an adult. Kira is written clumsily, as though by a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And inside, there are a bunch of drawings of all of you.
Mm-hmm.
Kira and Anna, who are little stick figure girls who look exactly the same, and their wolf friend, and their sort of eventually grandmother. And then looking playfully grumpy, a sort of army-looking guy.
Mm-hmm.
Some where he's really being mean and chasing Kira and Anna around. But somewhere on every single page, you know when you take a pen and you dig it so far into the paper that it like impacts it?
Mm-hmm.
There's a figure that's drawn like that. And you can always clearly see the legs. You can always clearly see the like kind of little kid bulbous head. And you can always clearly see the wings. And she's not always front and center, but she's always there. And you know who that is.
Kira takes the notebook, kind of like flips through the pages.
You hear like a sort of involuntary little chuckle. It's Tommy, and he's like, I mean, I'm sorry, it's actually kind of cute.
Yeah.
I know what this place is, but he like holds out a hand for the notebook for just a second.
Give it to him.
Look at you two running.
By you two, who does he mean?
Kira and Anna.
Yeah. She was always here. And Kira looks at Anna, but so is she.
Like a big bad sis.
Yeah. Big bad scary sis.
Theo.
Are you sure you're not done with Kira? Like, you know, she still needs to get out of the house and stuff.
I was gonna say, Kira might want a quick go upstairs.
Oh. Okay.
Oh no.
Sorry. But I think she needs some closure.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel sick.
Mm-hmm.
When you get to the stairs, the unspoken question, who's coming up with you?
No one.
Okay. You walk upstairs. The first thing that gets you is the sound. A slow mechanical inflating and deflating around one of these corners. The second thing is the smell. It's like antiseptic. It's clean, but it's just barely covering over.
Mm-hmm. Like the iodine kind of
the
type
filthy,
smell?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So you walk down the hall and you walk around the corner and you look into the room, and there is basically an in-home hospital bed, leaning over which is Heidi, and hooked up to a bunch of these machines is your dad. Except it looks like a mannequin with the makeup of the man. The hair that's left is pale and wispy, sunken cheeks.
Mm-hmm.
Heidi stands up when you walk in, but presses herself against the back wall.
Mm-hmm. Is there like a chair or something next to the bed?
Yeah, I think there's one on either side of the bed.
Kira will go and sit down on one of the chairs.
He weakly lifts up his head to kind of barely look at you.
Does he recognize me?
He turns his head to look at Heidi and then looks at you and furrows his brows. He seems confused.
You might not remember me. I remember you. I wish that I didn't. There's a lot of things that I wish I could forget. But, nevertheless, I'm here. For one reason, really. You are my past, and that's where you're gonna stay. I just came to say goodbye.
As you finish what you were saying, his eyebrows will go up and his eyes will go wide, and then he will start sort of wheezing excitedly. Just this consistent and gradually it will get a bit more voice behind it.
Mm-hmm.
I think he might actually beckon you over to the bed.
She's sitting on the chair next to the bed.
He will beckon you closer so that you can hear what he has to say. It is your choice whether you actually lean over to hear what he has to say.
She'll lean in.
What he is saying weekly, over and over and over, is, it worked.
Goodbye, Michael. I hope you rot in hell. And then she's gonna walk out. I think after she leaves the room, she goes downstairs and she grabs Tommy's hand. And then she says, let's go home.
But Theo, I think you see/feel a kind of starlight spotlight coming from the moonroof of Yano's truck. And you look up, and just above you, only above you, through that window alone, it is nighttime. And there are hundreds of thousands of stars. And there are also, in fact, flowing and exploding nebulae. And then you can see the glint of one of the stars, and then a sort of circle forms, creating the Star King's helmet. What's this I hear about a forge? Executive producer Jonny Grubb. This has been The Monsters Playbook, featuring
John Wander as Mark Clayton,
Lauren Johnson as Anna and Kira Ashwood,
Maya Detchen-Wander as Theo Nessos,
and Jonny Grubb as literally everybody else. The Monsters Playbook is produced and engineered by Maya Detchen-Wander and edited by Maya Detchen-Wander and Lauren Johnson. Our theme song is by me, Jonny Grubb. If you liked this episode, please tell a friend. We love friends. And if you just can't get enough of the Monsters Playbook, join us on Patreon. We have bonus episodes, exclusive merch, and patron-only mini-series and side stories. Or join us on Discord, where we pretty much just hang out. We're also on social media, obviously, so you can get updates on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, and Blue Sky. We'll see you next episode where, as always, I'll have some good news and some bad news. Thanks for listening.
Mark is going to put his stone on the round table and then reach into his hidden place and grab the bigger stone and put it on the table.
Leave it right there.
God damn it. It's not what I meant at all.
Yeah, we're not dealing with it. Okay, so you have your small stone and you have your obsidian slab, both of which are like irradiating a kind of visible red-orange heat aura. I'm just going to keep going. I'm just pushing through. Pushing through the place.
Stop it.
I'm sorry.
Please say that. Please say that again, Jonny. Well, we're not laughing like fucking 2-year-olds over here.
But if I say it again, how will you ever learn?
I'll mute myself. I won't laugh.
All right, keep that up.
Wow. Ouch.
Little punchy today.
Yeah.